So I'm going to get going because it's a really tight time and I want to make sure that we are on time, because I know a lot of you have got to get ready for schools and things. So many of you have done this with me before, both live and on the recordings, but for those that have just joined, I'm Liz. You'll notice that as we work through the session, we've got a broad range of abilities doing this. So I will always offer an easier version, and then I'll start to make it more challenging. And you just need to know that you are absolutely fine if you are new to this, or you're still building, or you're rehabbing, or for whatever reason, you need to keep it easier. That's absolutely fine. So to that end, I know some of you do this already. If you are not confident with balance work, then by all means, have a light contact with a wall or a chair or a surface. That's absolutely fine until you find your confidence, and then you can move away. Equally, I know there's a few of you who have been with me for a while, so by all means grab weights, resistance bands, make this more challenging so that you're keeping your progression. And I'll try to remember, for those of you that are progressing, to comment on when you would use your weights and where you would use them. So let's get going. We are starting off this morning with single leg stability. We're going to start with the feet nice and wide, and we're going to do a short warm up, and then we're going to crack straight on. So we're going to be nice and tall through the spine. Again, for those of you that have not done it with me before, you're thinking about a piece of string coming from your bottom all the way up through your spine and pulling you up towards the ceiling. If you can think about that and get that really nailed, then all of your core and all of your stability muscles through your torso will automatically switch on in order to keep you nice and tall and keep you balanced. I mean, they're working all the time. They're just going to work a bit harder if you are lifting up nice and tall. So stay nice and tall. We're going to do a big breath in, stretch towards the ceiling. So you're reaching just not just the crown of your head, but your hands all the way up. And then from there, we're going to take a side stretch. So we're going to reach one hand towards the floor, this hand over. And instead of coming back the way we came, we're going to bend through the knees and we're going to roll to the center. And then from there, we can do a big breath in and roll up through the spine. So we're getting everything moving through the back, all the way back up tall. And then we just repeat to the other side. So big breath in, stretch tall. Take it over into a side stretch. Then soften the knees, roll to center, and then roll slowly back up through the spine. Good, move at your own pace, but nice big wide breaths in through the nose, really reaching tall at the top. Big breath in at the bottom, slowly roll up. Good, a couple more to each side, just to get us moving before we start the hard stuff. I did go through a little walk this morning, so those of you that have done morning sessions with me before, you know that my brain can be a little bit dicey, not great on the memory and all that. So I went for a walk this morning to try and really wake myself up before this session. So hopefully we won't have the stupid comments that I usually make when I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Good, this is the last one to this side. Reach, roll to center. I mean, I'm making no promises, by the way. That wasn't a promise, that wasn't a guarantee. I could still lose it. Hands into a prayer position. We're going to take it side to side for a stretch to start. So one knee is bending, other leg is staying straight. So we're taking a nice stretch on the inner thigh. Just think about sending your bottom back behind you as if you're trying to find a chair to sit on. So side to start. We're going to deepen that stretch now into the hips. So drop down, use your elbow and push that knee behind you. So push the knee out behind so we increase that stretch. And then this hand we're going to take up towards the ceiling, trying to open that shoulder back behind us. Come back, take it up. Let's do the same to the other side. Down, elbow pushes into the knee to open that hip. Stretch and reach. Get down, push the elbow into the knee. Reach the other one up. Remember, keep those breathings. This is what I mean. What I mean about the morning. Keep the breaths nice and big and wide. In through the nose, out through the mouth. It's great for our stretching, but also that breath is really good for our running, helping us take nice full wide breaths. Good, let's do one more to each side. Reach. Good, bring it back. All we're going to do is swivel. So face your feet down one side of the mat. Now, if you are a little bit unsure about this, you can narrow your stance a little bit to help your balance. Obviously, the wider the stance, the harder it is. All we're going to do is drop down into a little lunge. So again, the deeper you go, the harder it is. And then we're going to shift our weight slightly so it's over this front leg, and you're going to pull yourself up with the front leg, just tap it in. So go back as far as you can, drop as low as you can, and then pull yourself back up with the front leg. So we're really building the strength in this front leg to pull us and drive us back up. Just like we want when we're running, we want to drive forward with the legs. So practice that by just pulling yourself up. So with all of this balance work, your easiest option is nice wide arms. Okay, if you ever want to challenge yourself, you just bring the arms in towards the body. So again, at any point, stick your arms out to help you balance, or challenge yourself by bringing them in. Those of you that want a little bit more, and this is where I said it before, add the challenge or don't. It's entirely up to you. There's no pressure. But those of you that do, you're still going to pull yourself up with this front leg, but this back leg's not going to touch the floor. It's going to drive all the way up in front. So you tap down behind in that lunge, pull yourself up, and all the way through into a balance. Down and up. And if you're using weights, you've got the weight in your hand, and as you come up, you're going to drive the weight up. Down. But again, that's another progression. You don't need to add it if you're not there yet. Down. Drive it up. Let's see if we can go for 10. Remember, keep the weight on this front leg, even in this lunge position. Pull yourself back up with it. I'm trying to count in my head, that's why I've gone quiet. Good. Those of you that have been with me a while, she never tries to count. It's always a random number. Good, I think we've got 5. 4. Keep the weight on that front leg, pull yourself up. 3. 2. And 1. Good. Keep that leg behind you that was doing the lunging. So still using that front leg. And I want you to imagine, I'm just going to turn towards you so you can see, you've got headlights on your hip bones. So there's knobbly bits at the front, okay? I'm going to have my hands here, but you can have your hands out. All we're going to do is we're going to take the weight onto that front leg and turn the headlights towards me. Turn them back to the floor and then lift that back leg. So you turn towards me and then lift that back leg. Nice and easy to start. Arms can be out. So you open and then lift that back leg. Open, lift the back leg. So bring the arms in if you want that challenge. Nice. And then if you want a little bit more challenge again, you're just going to hinge further forward so that leg comes up off the floor. Same thing, open, come back to center, but instead of lifting the leg, you're going to tap the floor because you've already got the leg up. So you open the hips and then you tap the floor. Open the hip, tap the floor. So headlights open out, face the floor and then tap. Good. Again, arms can be out. So the work here is in this standing leg. All right, the more stability we can build in the single leg, the more power we can have, the more drive we can have when we run, the more efficient our stride's going to be, the more we can drive ourselves forward. See if we can do 3 more. Open, tap or lift, depending on where you're at. 2. And you could have weights in your hands here to make this more challenging balance-wise as well. Last ones. Come back. Just shake off that standing leg. We're still going to use it. Last little bit, but shake it off if you need to. Bring your weight back into it when you're ready. Easier version here. Arms out. Pick up that leg behind you. And you're just going to try and kick your bottom. Kick, release. Kick, release. So the knee joint itself stays in a still position. You're not swinging it forwards or backwards, but you're just trying to get your hamstrings working at the back to kick your heel to your bottom. Those of you wanting a bit more challenge, you're just going to hinge a bit further. Ready? We're going to go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Remember, you can always go easier again if you're starting to tire. 3, 2, 1, and then slowly come back. Shake it off. You should have a nice ache in that standing leg where it's worked really hard to stabilise all around the hips. Like I say, the whole time you're thinking about keeping that piece of string pulling up towards the ceiling. So even if you come into that hinge position, you've still got that length through the spine. That enables your upper body to stay as stable as possible, because if you are waving around with the upper body, that poor single leg doesn't stand a chance. We can do the same thing but going the other way. So wide legs. We're going to swivel the other way. So remember, narrow your stance if you need to. Shift the weight to that front leg. Drop down on that back one. And then pull it in and tap. Nice and wide, or as wide as you can, as low as you can, so you can tap the knee on the floor if you want. And in. Arms out is easier. Arms in has a little bit more challenge, so up to you. Good, down, drive it in. So remember, your option here is to start to pull that knee all the way through and up. Down, all the way through and up. Those of you wanting to use weights, punching the weight up over the head as you come up. Remember, nice big wide breaths and nice tall spine. So crown of the head's always lifting up tall. Even when you drop down through the leg, you're tall through the spine. Good. I'm counting, I promise. We've got 8. Good. Remember, you're pulling yourself up with the front leg. Try not to shift your weight back as you step back. For 4, 3, 2, last one, 1. Remember, this same leg's balancing, other leg goes behind you. Those headlights on the non-blitz of your hips, you open them out towards me, take them to the floor, and then lift. Open and lift. So arms out to start. You've got a hinge through the hips, so you're taking the upper body towards the floor, but you're still really tall. Don't collapse here. Really strong centre to help with the balance. Good, and then those of you that want a bit more, you've got a deeper hinge. And you're tapping the leg on the floor and keeping it up the rest of the time. That's it. Move positions and fall over. That's it. Open. I can't concentrate on you guys, watching you guys that I can see, and balancing. These are looking good though. Nice. We've got 8, 7, 6. If you've ever been told that your glute med needs strengthening, these ones are really good for that. Lots of physios will give that advice. Strengthen your glute med. Good, last ones for 2. And 1. Good, stay on that front leg, but give it a shake if you need to. And then when you're ready, come back in. This leg's still straight behind you, and you're just going to kick your bottom. Kick your bottom. So you've got a little hinge at the hip. You're not tall. You are tall, sorry, you're just not strapped to the ceiling. That's it. And then if you want to, come forward into that hinge. Let's go for 10, 9, arms in or out for challenge. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come slowly back. Shake it off. Ooh, let's do a little stretch. Go wide with the legs again, and then just fold forwards at the waist. Grab your elbows, and then just let your body swing side to side in a little ragdoll stretch. When you're ready, slowly roll back up. Last little bit for some side work. You're going to shift your weight onto that first leg that was balancing. So it's a nice tall spine, nice and open. Nice and easy with this one, you're just going to lift and lower. But if you imagine those headlights, try to keep them level and still so they're not tilting when you lift the leg. So really get the hips to lift rather than the body. And again, you can have arms out. You can have arms in. If you're using something to challenge, then bands around your knees, or just above your knees, I should say, would be great here. Pushing out into the band, but remember with the band, don't let it snap your knee back in. Push and then slowly control it back. And that's great for two things. One, it's great for the outside of this leg, but it's also going to challenge your balance on this one because it's going to want to pull your knee. So just make sure you work with the standing leg to stay really still. Good, we've got 5, 4, 3. Remember, tall through the body. On the 1, keep the leg out. So more challenging would be up here. A little bit easier is down here. Take your pick. We're going to do circles. So easier version is here. Harder version, get the legs up. If you wanted to here, if you really want to challenge your balance on this standing leg, you can put a hinge at the hip. That really challenges this standing leg though, so be careful you don't topple. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to go back the other way with the circles for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. God, I'm glad we're doing this in the morning. It's baking already. 2, 1. Slowly back. Shake it off. We can do the same going the other way. So shift your weight. To start with, keep the hip bones or the headlights, whichever way you find easier to think of them, super still. Arms out or in. Remember, nice and tall through the spine. If we kind of collapse here, everything down through the body becomes a bit more wobbly. So nice and tall. Everything is then switched on, core, back muscles. He's looking good. Try as much as possible, keep the weight over the standing leg rather than swinging out to the side. God, I'm really hot already. Good, let's go for 8. If you need to have a rest, shake it off, join back in when you can. Last one, remember on the last one, try and keep the leg up and we are circling. So you're down here, a little bit easier, a little bit harder, and then more challenging up here. So pick your poison, so to speak. Try to work at the same level you did on the other side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go back for 10 and then we are done. Who said you can't get a lot done in 20 minutes, eh? Well, never a working mum. She knows what we can get done in 20 minutes, but good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back. Shake it off. Oh, lovely bit of burn. And again, just fold forward, so nice wide legs. Allow the body to fold at the waist. Just do a little shifting around so you can grab your elbows and let your back swing. You can do a little bit of weight transfer side to side. That helps Take the pressure out the hips. Take some nice big breaths. Really focus on the breathing just to help the body just come back down from that workload. So nice big breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Come to center whenever you're ready, and then slowly roll back up. So make it a super slow roll this time. One vertebrae at a time, sitting on top of the other. Grow tall at the top. Circle the shoulders. Step it in and just walk tall for the rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining in this morning.